Sarah, you can't use that as the intro to the episode.
Really? I just think if we tell the story... No, it's okay. Not yet.
Not yet.
We need to get some distance between you and the experience before we share it with the world.
Okay, if we ever have 1,000 listens on any episode...
Yeah. If this video gets 1,000 likes, then we will share the funniest and very embarrassing story of all time.
Yeah. Okay, that's a promise. You know what? That is a legit promise. All it'll take is 1,000 views.
Please, everybody. It's worth it. Cheers, Willie. I'm just having a couple glasses of wine because we get a 3-day weekend, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's only so we can clean our old house because we moved house.
Yeah. Well, we have to start with our obligatory intro.
Say it.
Hello, everybody.
I usually say it, huh?
Yeah, well,
Welcome to the Bumblebears podcast. We are your hosts, Willie and Sass.
Hello.
We're backyard beekeepers with a keen interest in all things bee-related. And once again, we are a month, 2 months out, 3 months.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months since our last
Okay,
episode.
we're fucking busy.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
But, you know...
We don't even watch TV.
That's not true.
Like once a week.
We watched Rush Hour last night.
We didn't even finish it. And when's
Yeah.
the last time we watched something before that?
Well, a lot has happened in Australia and
And in our lives.
in our lives, yes, in general. Because, okay, so last time we left, Australia recently burst into flames, and unfortunately, Australia is still on fire.
Yeah, it's bad. And I feel like there was a big surge in media coverage and support and donations and stuff, and that's really tapered off now, and that's just natural. That's how it goes. Like, especially with the internet, it's like, what's trendy right now is sending money to Australia, and now it's moved on, and now it's like, take a video of your Roomba with like a screwdriver on top of it.
Yeah. What is trending right now? I mean, is there...
I don't fucking know.
Bottle
But I did
bottle
see a
cap
couple of those
challenge, I don't know,
videos.
something challenge.
That's old, Willie.
Yeah,
That's like almost a year old.
I know, but there's always a challenge. There's always some sort of challenge. But you know what? I shouldn't diss everybody because, you know, I think it was last weekend. Miley Cyrus held a bushfire relief concert
Oh yeah, that's good.
at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. So, and Chris Hemsworth is also the face of a campaign of trying to get tourism into Australia.
It's funny that you mentioned those two people together when Miley Cyrus was married to Liam Hemsworth for about 2 months.
Yeah, because aren't they divorced now?
Yeah,
That's sad.
that is sad. That's
Yeah.
how it goes.
She did boost the sale of Nike slide sandals in Australia, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but more so on the topic of bushfires, everyone's still working through it. It's gonna take ages to still put it out and stuff, but obviously everyone in the CFA and the RFS...
Fucking legends.
Yeah, it is RFS, right? New South Wales. Sorry, I'm not from New South Wales. I believe it's RFS.
I think so, yeah.
The absolute legends, you know, tireless and selfless work, and they're doing the best they can.
Easily the hottest of government and, you know, public state authorities easily.
Yeah, and but you know, lots of communities, you know, have been affected by it, and the beekeeping community is no exception. I guess not super contemporary news at the time of this recording, but you know, they're still trying to rebuild, and I believe they have a Kickstarter going. Kangaroo Island got hit really, really badly by bushfires, and most of the hives were lost, and that's been a real shame because it's actually it's a great tourist destination. You know, you take a ferry from Adelaide. I remember going there once. It was really nice, and one of the large parts of Kangaroo Island's industry, not just from tourism, but also, you know, in regards to primary industries, is they're pretty large honey producers because they obviously, I can't prove this, but you know, we'll go with, you know, what is the general word of the town, I'll say, is that they have a 100% Ligurian bee lineage in Kangaroo Island because it was, I believe how the story goes is that it was a refuge during the war, and they brought some Ligurian honeybees there, and they're very docile, they're very, very sweet bees, and they pollinate basically everything in Kangaroo Island because, there's farming there as well, and it's a beautiful place. You should. I encourage anyone to visit, not just when the land recovers from bushfires, but the communities need your help. So go there now if you have some spare time, and basically all the beehives are wiped out.
And also, I mean, there's a lot of. It's not just this singular story. Like a lot of beekeepers are suffering losses right now, which is rough. And we always say that honey is just a bonus byproduct of beekeeping, but honey production is going to be very low this year because, Willie, why don't you explain? I think we've talked about it before. Why don't we explain what bees do when they smell smoke?
Yeah, well, they won't actively go about their foraging duties. They, especially when I can't even imagine what it was like, at the coalface. But we were hit by some really bad days of smoke haze.
Oh, disgusting! Yeah, and we're like relatively far from where anything was on fire.
Yeah, like if for our international audience, they at the worst of it. Like Canberra, which is very far away from the fires, I think, or far enough away from the fires, their air quality was the worst city in the world, like worse than,
like Beijing and...
Yeah, like worse than Beijing and worse than other, really densely populated city centers and stuff. And so from beekeepers all over, when there's smoke around, they think there's a fire, they're going to send scouts out to look for
a new house.
Yeah, a new house. They're not going to be worried about foraging as much.
Yeah, they're like, we have to GTFO. So they start eating all their honey stores so that they can have enough energy to go find a new house.
Yeah, and a lot of beekeepers have obviously they've been hit very hard by their yields, but also the stark reality is a lot of beehives just burst into flames.
Which is fucking horrible and sad.
Yeah, so just want to just put it out there. I know to our loyal 10 listeners, thank you so much. The
number went up. Yeah, thank you. Who did you say you were at work?
Hey, Frank, if you hear this is a special shout out to you.
Thanks for listening.
But please don't use Capilano or Audi honey as a benchmark. Single source, backyard honey, rooftop honey is very very labor intensive and very much like a labor of love.
Yeah.
And even another shout out to other good guys in the fight as well, Beechworth Honey, who have actually been tremendous in their efforts in providing honey and beeswax for injured wildlife and communities.
Yeah. Beechworth just kicks ass anyway. They're, really look up to them and really, want to be like them.
Yeah. If we could be 1/10 as successful as Beechworth, that would be a dream. And also, if you haven't seen their cute shop at the Block Arcade, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But they've been tremendous in the efforts as well with trying to support local beekeepers and who supply them with honey and stuff like that. They pay. They've increased their pay for the beekeepers to get them through the tough times.
Yeah.
And that's why you might see at local markets the price of honey has gone up. Please don't think
maybe I should just go buy some little squeezy teddy bear at Kohl's or whatever.
Yeah,
no, support your local beekeeper, guys. We need it.
Yeah, if you're thinking of buying 1 jar, buy 2 jars and just use it sparingly because that would go a really long way. Yeah, because this leads us into the other issue regarding the bushfires, and this is a contentious issue. And says, I would like to know your thoughts on this. So, because we've lost so many beehives, we've lost so much forests, it's going to take some time for the forestry to regrow again. Because they say on average, with Australian flora, that it takes from seed 10 years before they flower.
Mm.
So a lot of beekeepers are asking for permissions for states to redraw boundaries of where beekeepers can put their remaining hives. In Victoria, it's not as tightly regulated, but in New South Wales and Queensland, it's fairly strict.
Mm.
So, on one hand, yes, I do think we should support our beekeepers because, honey is, the lifeblood of the bees, but in many ways, it's also the lifeblood of, primary industries such as, like, say, for pollination, and if you like your almond milk, almonds are delicious. But also, yeah, for the beekeepers themselves. Do you think that, to what extent should governments lax, or not, I shouldn't say lax, but redefine the boundaries of national parks that beekeepers can put their beehives to support themselves in the near future?
It's a really tricky one because obviously when we live in this like industrialized world, national parks need to be protected at all costs, and like really strict lines need to be drawn. Like, we have a dog and it sucks that we can't take him to national parks and stuff, but I also am like, I get it, like you have to put those boundaries in place. At the same time, I get where they're coming from, where there's no space right now of just regular, forest land. A lot of like private land is burnt up and stuff like that. And also, if you think about when you see, I guess, factory farm beekeepers kind of like throw all their beehives on a truck and just like drive them around the country, that has an environmental impact as well. So it's a really tricky one. I think if it's just temporary and if there's not a huge, I guess, overload of people putting their hives in national parks, it's kind of like, what else are they supposed to do? But I also would hope that anyone who has space for hives or any kind of land or any kind of rooftop would step up right now and be like, hey, come, put your shit with us,
Yeah. So, the last point you made, I think that is in part, key to the solution. And I'm just going to say something, and it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I do feel very strongly about this. I think that national parks should be, what they are, national parks, and preserve the ecosystem. I think that they should, if anything, I don't think they're strict enough as it is already, with the way people can put their beehives there. I think in this day and age where almost there is no square centimeter of earth that is untouched, like despite, even, with national parks and conservation efforts, we still lose species of insects, amphibians, birds every day and stuff like that. I think the solution, but we still need to support the beekeepers. So I think the solution is, the state needs to implement a system to first pay the beekeepers more so they don't go broke, and give them time to split their colonies and bring their colonies to form numbers again. I think it's deplorable that Kangaroo Island needs to go on Kickstarter to rebuild their business.
It's fucking horrible.
I think the government...
And, you're seeing a lot of news coverage about, the animals and the people and stuff, but, you're not seeing a lot of news coverage about the bees?
Yeah.
It's kind of just, this forgotten... I feel like it was a few years ago, it was really trendy to care about bees, and now everybody's just forgotten about it, and yet is the situation, the environmental impact on bees any better? No. If anything, it's worse. But it's just that trendy thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. So would you say, and obviously, it's not as simple as this, but, as a loose plan, hypothetically, the state gives households an incentive, do you have a flat rooftop? Are you not allergic to bees? We'll give each household, $100 if you sponsor a beehive.
Yeah, easy.
And a beekeeper will come and look after it, sort of things.
Yeah.
That way, they don't deplete the resources and affect the ecosystem of a national park. Same way, they get the honey yield by, distributing their beehives in the urban centre, which we already know is generally extremely diverse in flora and actually very rich in flora because, we have, parks and gardens in, in built up city centres.
Suburban honey is fucking delicious.
Yeah. So there's many initiatives or there's creative ways that we can support beekeepers by allowing them to put their hives elsewhere. I don't think that it should just be dump them in a national park.
But it's just really sad that we have this administration that's just Oh yeah, you'll figure it out, won't you?
Yeah. I, like, you know...
I'm pretty sure, isn't that what he said? Or something like that. It's like, you... Right, get back to it then.
Oh yeah, when he went to that town.
When the guy's like,
I haven't eaten all day.
eaten all day, like, it's been really crazy. Right, back to work then?
Yeah, I'll let you get back to it then. Yeah, like, you know, it makes me, you know, really proud, you know, to be part of a community, to be, you know, part of a nationality where everyone did rally behind the communities and the people affected, and, you know, like, you know, millions of dollars were raised. And at the same time,
incredible.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, from like ordinary folk and, like, and small business owners. It's like, it's really sad.
Everybody just dug into their pockets and helped out, but it is sad that
from the government perspective, like, not a lot's happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like the Hemsworth brothers. We'll bring them up again. You know, I'm going to watch every Hemsworth movie from now on because I think, like, collectively they donated, like, I think $1 million each.
Yeah, incredible.
Like, you know what?
Yeah, so many celebrities stepped up.
I know MIB International is a shocking movie, but I regret not watching it now. Because
you know what? We should watch it and play a drinking game, and just for fun, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just watch MIB International. Or any other... what movies is Liam in? Like the Maleficent films, I think?
I liked the one he did with Rebel Wilson.
What
was that?
that romantic comedy one, right?
That one was really cute. Okay, was I pregnant when I watched that? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved that. That was really good. But anyways, we're on a big tangent here. Basically, what we're saying is...
TLDR version.
TLDR, bees and beekeepers have been affected by the fires. Please help them out and spread awareness.
Go to your markets. Don't get price shock when you see the jar of honey, you know, what they're charging for honey. Buy that one more extra jar than you normally would. Support your local beekeepers. You know, it's going to be, like I say, probably like a tough 10 years because it's going to take a long time. The majority of our honey that we get is from eucalypt. And, you know, these trees provide a lot of nectar.
And they're the ones that went up in flames because they're really flammable.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, we used to go see how it plays out and just do our bit and chip away at the problem one day at a time.
And speaking of one day at a time, that's what we've been doing here, taking things one day at a time. And you know what's happening in a few days, Willie?
What's happening in a few days?
We are having... Bumblebear Farms are going to be a speaker/featured peeps at the Springvale Community Garden Open Day.
Yeah!
Every year. We really look forward to this. It's really exciting.
We got to meet Jane Edmondson last year.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Gardening royalty. Which I think we actually mentioned in, like, one of our previous episodes.
We did, yes. Shout out to her again. You know, if she's around again, we're going to bring her another jar of honey just because she's really sweet and lovely.
Yeah, and we've also leveled up in beekeeping since then.
Yeah, true. So that's going to be 21st of March. It's a Saturday. I promised the president of the garden that one of us is going to go help set up at 8 in the morning. So we'll do that. Then from 10 o'clock onwards, it's just a really good time. We have a barbecue. Everybody's there. We just have a chinwag, and we have a couple drinks. And people bring, there's like saplings and native plants, people, and stuff like that. People trade seeds. They trade their veggies. It's just kind of a nice way to...
I hope we win the raffle this year.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
there's a raffle. They give away all kinds of stuff.
The raffle is amazing.
They do, like, people donate amazing stuff. There's, like, was it, like, a big barbecue?
Yeah.
And there was, like, big bags of, like, fertilizer and gardening tools and, you know, big stuff like, like whippersnippers and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of support from Yates and also from our local Bunnings.
Yeah, local Bunnings is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, which... so speaking of Bunnings, you know, it's an excellent segue, but also take home message. If you listen to this,
we're also going to be doing a bee talk. So, like, Bumblebear Farms is going to be featured at Springvale Community Garden on the 21st of March. If you can be there, it'd be awesome. I don't know what time we're talking, but we're just going to give, like, a brief chat about beekeeping, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, look for the Asian guy and the blonde lady and the cute baby.
Yeah, and the cute little baby.
But yeah, we said, Bunnings is a great supporter of the
garden
event
in general, yeah.
and the garden in general. And another exciting development in Bumblebear Farms.
They invited us to do a little community engagement night at the local Bunnings, which is exciting.
Thursday night. Ladies' night.
Yeah. Thursday night, 26th of March, from 5 to 8 at the Springvale Bunnings. We're going to be doing, a little community engagement ladies' night. So they want us to do some kind of craft.
Yeah, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they just want to do some sort of like arts and craft, and it can be of anything, but because we come from a beekeeping background, they want us to have a bit of a bee-ish spin, to the arts and craft. So what sort of workshop are we hosting there?
So we have like several kilos of beeswax just sitting around that we've done like random things with, but we've never had like a major, purpose for it. So we are going to try our hand at making some lip balms for the ladies at Springvale Bunnings.
And then they can take it home with them.
Yeah, they can take it home. I hope it turns out well. I really don't know how it's going to go. I'm kind of thinking of just doing because how hard would it be if you measure out an individual thing for everybody and have them make their individual one? So I think I'm just going to be like, you, Kate, you come up here and you measure the beeswax. Okay, Joanne, you come up here and you measure the oil. I think I'm going to do it that and just make a big batch. And then everybody gets to pour their own or something.
Yeah.
So that way everybody's involved.
We might need to donate or burn, your little watering can with the little fine spout?
The white one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need that to pour in. Or buy another one. How are we going to pour? What, you're gonna get a giant saucepan and pour it into
use one of your beakers from work.
How are you going to pour into the little tiny thing?
Carefully.
Because you're always careful.
I am always careful. Who's the one who broke their lunchbox today?
I had to jump the curb to get onto the road because there was a car coming.
And how many lunchboxes have you broken?
Maybe 3.
I swear it's 4. Okay, if we're saying lost or broken, it's 4 for sure.
Okay. But back to the point. Okay, Sarah's going to be making lip balm at Bunnings.
Yeah, so, if you can come.
Or if you think that lip balm is a silly idea and you would, think, if I went to Bunnings, I would rather make this. Bearing in mind, it's only a 30-minute workshop. We'd actually love to, hear what sort of, arts and craft things that you've always wanted to do with beeswax.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Do you have an affinity for candles? Do you have an affinity for those beeswax wraps? Any idea is a good idea because, we seriously have kilos of it and we just look at it.
Okay, I didn't want to do candles because I think not everybody's a candle person and they take a fair bit of beeswax, you know what I mean? Whereas a lip balm is not that much beeswax.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to do the wraps because, honestly, Apiary Made, the
beautiful wraps.
That's their thing. Their whole brand is revolving around these
wraps. If you're on Insta, you've got to go to Apiary Made.
Yeah, they have a really beautiful page, really beautiful. They're selling them all over the place. But I'm like, why would I try to make? The market's already got the nice fancy wraps. I don't need to try to make those.
Yeah.
So that's why I went for lip balm. I'm like, everybody gets dry lips sometimes. Why don't we make some lip balm? I'm looking at Willie, who has perpetually dry lips.
Yeah. That's why I think it's an excellent idea. And also, what's a great thing about lip balm? Everyone can take one home afterwards.
Yeah.
And they'll be
like, I made this.
Yeah. So, we'd love to do more things with Bunnings, and, we're, super stoked they invited us, because, what? People want to hear us crap on about bees for half an hour?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're definitely, I feel like, we've been trying to get momentum on the brand for a little while, and things are, finally starting to come together. It's very exciting, Do you think it's exciting, Willie?
I think so, yeah. And also, watch this space, because we're we've heard your requests and we're desperately trying to get this onto Spotify.
We have to pay money. That's the thing. Maybe we should make a Patreon, William.
Maybe we should.
Okay, we're going to make a Patreon. I'll make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like the podcast, if you like us, if you like bees, if you like honey, then take a look. We're going to have a Patreon page soon because, if we want to get this podcast on Spotify, we have to pay money. If we want to get a proper website going, we have to pay money. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. We do, at least we own a domain name, even though we're paying for it.
Yay.
But at least we own it.
And we're sitting on it, and we just haven't done anything with it. It's been like a year. But anyways, yeah, that is basically the story for episode 10. Also, we just want to throw out a quick little message. Homero Gomez Gonzalez, R.I.P. He was not a beekeeper, but he was a fellow pollinator
hero, the butterflies.
Yeah, so he was a Mexican monarch butterfly conservationist. He made amazing initiative to protect them. He has like a crazy story. He was born into a logger family, and he realized as a kid this is wrong, and he made this huge decision to change his life and become a monarch butterfly conservationist. And then, the Mexican gangsters down there didn't like that because obviously they get, a lot of their money is tied to the logging industry. And suddenly, Homero turns up dead in the middle of nowhere under mysterious circumstances, and after he had been threatened by, gangsters and stuff like that.
Because his wife's saying they got death threats all the time, right, to stop, because he became a really popular figure, and they said, stop using influence for...
Yeah, and then he just, fought for the good fight until the end, so we just want to say R.I.P. to him, and, yeah, he's an absolute legend, and, a beacon of light in the conservationist and pollinating, support communities. So.
Yeah, so seriously, you have to read a story. You have to read your story. It's what we strive to be every day, to try and, do as much good as we can. And even though, obviously, we don't live a complete sin-free life, obviously, we're in a house with electricity, we don't grow our own veg, we drive a car, etc. and so forth, but we do try and do our bit to, improve this world we live in. R.I.P. Homero. You're a legend. Hashtag pollinator hero.
Yeah, but that's all we have to talk about today. We are going to call it a night, and, if you want to be a hero like Homero Gonzalez, then you can also be a steward of the bees, but being kind to bees. And beekeepers and buy their honey.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.